I'm J.W. Prather, Director of IDC Institute. This is a journal entry with an account of Project Worldgate that we conducted over a 1-week period at the Conjuring house, henceforth known as Area 111. That is its mathematical designation. I was approached to conduct an experiment there that would try to tie in the theory of spirits, afterlife, cryptids, as well as aliens. The project itself consisted of 3 parts. We conducted 2 experiments for the Worldgate itself over that 1-week period. We also conducted 2 separate standalone experiments. Project Worldgate was, in theory, to see if we could open a Worldgate, if we could open a portal. A Stargate for those who may be into the Sci-Fi Channel. The project, as I set it forth, was to attempt to open a gate in Area 111, the Conjuring house. In order to do this, I theorized that it would take conditioning the environment as well as conditioning the participants that we used in the experiments. Now, the participants themselves, there were 2 parts to the experiment when we used the participants. One part was called the Peregrine Experience. This was audio specifically designed to allow them to travel and open a gate and go through. The Catalyst Experiment was audio that we used for the participants to help them aid in opening that gate in such a way that we may be able to see it firsthand at Area 111. The third and final part of the Worldgate project to open the Worldgate was the Omnia Experiment. And that is where I used audio, particular audio frequencies, to condition the environment to accept and facilitate the opening of this gate with the aid of the 6 human beings that were participating. So there was audio for the participants, there was audio for the house. We conducted 2 experiments. Experiment 1 went very well. We only used 5 participants for experiment 1. I won't go into all the mathematical formulas that went into it, but the 6th seat for the mathematical layout of the design was left open in the hopes that one of the participants' fathers, who matched mathematically to that seat, he would be a sentient being because he's passed on, and he would sit in that seat. Now, all 5 participants in the first experiment had positive and profound experiences. We interviewed each one of them individually, and they were very profound experiences. These experiments were conducted using the InterComm system, which is an audio-video system. During the participants' part of the experiment, they were subjected to audio that would allow them to Hemi-Sync. So the Hemi-Sync directly related to both the Catalyst Experiment as well as the Peregrine Experience. There were other audio frequencies as well. The total experiment took about 47 minutes and 15 seconds. Experiment 2 of Project Worldgate, we changed a few things up. We added an observer, 6 participants. I also started the frequencies early to condition the house for the Omnia experiment. So I started those frequencies about 10 minutes earlier. Also, quartz rocks, stones, were taken from the land, and each participant held one of these during the 47-minute and 15-second experiment. While experiment 1 went very well, the house did not react. Experiment 2, however, did not go quite as well for 2 of the participants. One participant had a half good, half bad experience. One of the other participants described an experience that was not as pleasant as the first experience. Now, all 6 participants experienced something. Now, the difference between experiment 1 and experiment 2 was experiment 2, the house did react. And it reacted pretty much from the moment that we opened the gate. The gate was held open for approximately 6 minutes, and then another 9 minutes of frequencies were subjected to the house as well as the participants to facilitate the closing of the gate. The house was active during that time. Area 111 was still active for another 10 minutes after the end of experiment 2. Now, these experiments, I'm going to go into more detail later on the Peregrine, the Omnia, and the Catalyst. Those are 3 separate experiments that we consist of audio that we used to either aid the house or aid the participants. There will be more on these experiments later, going into greater detail on the audio frequencies that were used during the Peregrine, the Omnia, and the Catalyst. The Peregrine Experience Overview. The Peregrine Experience consists of audio that is transmitted from the IDC InterComm System to the human participants that are participating in the experiment. These audio frequencies that are used and transmitted are meant to facilitate Hemi-Sync, the synchronization of the left side and the right side of the human brain. When synchronizing the left side and right side of the brain, we can bypass some of the limitations of just simple meditation. These frequencies are in the 4 to 7 hertz range. Human hearing cannot hear 4 to 7 hertz. So these frequencies are sent via the intercom system to the headphones with a left side and a right side. The human brain can tell the difference and will hear the difference between 2 frequencies. So by using 2 different frequencies in the left side and right side ear, the human being's brain will hear that difference. The main objective of the Peregrine Experience is to aid and facilitate the human participant to be able to travel. Not only travel, but also manifest whatever it is that they desire to manifest. Other frequencies can be added to and used in the Peregrine Experience to help. It is also possible to use frequencies that are attuned to the location, the physical location on Earth that the human participants are located at. These are what we call areas. We calculate these with longitude, latitude, and using the sidereal clock. We then attune those frequencies to that area, aiding the human participants in the Peregrine Experience. The Catalyst Experiment Overview. The Catalyst Experiment is very similar to the Peregrine Experience, but a few differences are used in the frequencies. The Catalyst Experiment is mainly used to use audio frequencies that are transmitted from the intercom system to the human participants. These frequencies are used to also Hemi-Sync, as was explained before, but they are more to help them manifest what it is they desire. And there are also audio instructions embedded in the frequencies that they are hearing that will walk them through what the objective is. In the case of Project Worldgate, the experiments we conducted there, these audio frequencies and these audio instructions were to help them to help manifest the opening of the physical gate at Area 111, the Conjuring house. The catalyst experiment can be used to produce several different outcomes depending on what it is that the participants are looking to accomplish. The Omnia Experiment overview. The Omnia Experiment was conducted using audio frequencies that were sent out from the intercom system to the environment. These were ambient audio frequencies that were used to condition the environment of Area 111 or whatever area you are at. Wherever you are on Earth when you conduct the experiment, you attune the audio frequencies to that. In this case, we were using the Omnia frequencies to help facilitate, along with our human participants, to aid in the opening of the Worldgate. The Omnia frequencies are not mixed with the frequencies of the participants. They are standalone and they are broadcast throughout the area that you're hoping to facilitate the gate or whatever else it is that you are looking for as an end result of the experiment. There were 2 other experiments that were conducted during that week. During a period where there was a seance being held on the first floor, we conducted 2 separate catalyst experiments. One in the well, where one of the participants laid on their stomach and peered into the well while listening to the audio for the catalyst experiment. That participant lasted around an hour and 45 minutes. And that participant did have experiences. Each participant was told they could stay as long as they felt comfortable. The second participant lasted around an hour and a half. She was in an upstairs room in a small area that was known for activity, and she had a mirror that had been found. We're not quite sure the age of it, but it appeared to have around 30 to 40 years of dust on it. She was instructed not to wipe the dust off that mirror until the experiment began. So both participants in the catalyst experiment were listening through headphones to the frequencies they were being subjected to for over an hour and a half. These frequencies were to aid them in Hemi-Sync, to synchronize both sides of their brain. In order to do that, part of it is having the participants listening to prolonged periods of 4 to 7 hertz. Now, 4 to 7 hertz happens to be the frequency that we're at when we first fall asleep or right after we wake up. We are in that range. Now, listening to 4 to 7 hertz for a human being is not possible. So the audio we use a differential between one frequency and another in stereo in the left and the right side ear, and the brain will pick out the difference between those 2 frequencies, allowing the brain to hear the 4 to 7 hertz. During this time, they can what's considered click out. They could time travel, but mainly the catalyst experiment was to help them manifest whatever it was they wanted to manifest. Like I say, one was peering into a well, one was peering into a mirror. Basically what some people call scrying. However, these participants were going through a Hemi-Sync process while scrying. Both participants had experiences. So in recap, Hemi-Sync facilitates both the Peregrine Experience as well as the Catalyst Experiment. The Hemi-Sync will work with both or either or. The Hemi-Sync, the Peregrine, the Catalyst Experiment were used in conjunction with Omnia to facilitate Project Worldgate. As you can tell from the descriptions that I've given you about how the Project Worldgate came to be and all of the moving parts of the project, you could see how these experiments and conditions could be used at other locations anywhere in the world. These experiments can be done in many numerous ways. And they do, they will, and they have produced astonishing results. Just remember, this is only a brief overview of how these experiments were conducted, as well as the audio frequencies and the methods used. I will go into greater detail on them at a later time.